Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
The OG.
Master P.
What's going on, y'all?
Morning, sir.
Oh, man, it's all good.
Let's start off with this energy drink you done put on our face. What's this new
S9.
thing that you doing?
S9, no sugar, no calories. It's good, man. Y'all got to taste it. Give it a taste
So what's
test.
in it if it don't have none of that?
Taste it. It's the best tasting in the drink in the country.
Pass me that Hennessy.
All right.
It do taste good.
You know, it ain't like the Red Bull or the other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of
Name
sugar.
it though.
That's cool. But, you know, a lot of athletes drinking this right now with the
Gotcha.
sports drink. So,
Sure.
you know, got nine different ingredients of vitamins in there.
No guilt.
Yep, none of that.
It tastes good. This tastes great with some
I'm surprised they ain't got no sugar in it.
with
though.
some
I think that
Hennessy.
defeats the purpose to mix it with liquor, Yee.
Yeah,
No, it
it's like an
doesn't.
upper and a downer.
What do you mean? It balances everything out.
Yeah, we're gonna bring her some of that and she won't mix it with.
There's limit 3 cans per day, so just be careful with that. But yeah, it tastes good.
Now listen, I saw a huge announcement that you have a new star
yeah.
in your movie that you
Yep,
have coming out, your
yep.
biopic, and it's our very own Charlamagne.
You know
Oh,
what
we out here.
I think you know what's good about this? People don't. I feel like when you make movies and you put movies together, I feel like it gotta have the right characters, and I think that the character that Charlamagne playing is the guy that saved my life when I was 5 years old. He's my uncle. He lived next door to me in the project.
Is he light skin or brown skin?
Nah, he's the same color, Charlamagne.
Well, what color is that?
Come on, man. Look, see, they own you now.
Like I'm
No.
not sitting right here. Like they don't got eyes.
Look, the thing about it is, you know, this person saved my life and got me to the hospital. He was the only person, you know, in our family that had a car. And if it was a minute later, I'd have been out of here because I got shocked through my feet. And I stepped on this cord on the radio and it went through my hand. So, you know, it's a good role. Somebody that's dear to my life that I appreciate.
Well, I want to
And that
thank
was
you,
in-
man. It's an honor
yeah.
and a privilege to be in the Master P biopic.
Oh, no, man. I'm telling you, like, to me, what the great thing about this movie, NWA, I mean, is an amazing movie. And I feel like at the same time, you know, my story, I came right after them. If you go look in the history books, I came right after them and I taught the world how to make money. NWA was probably some of the best artists in the game at the time. And those same guys from Jerry Heller to Brian Turner to Jimmy Iovine, I dealt with all of them, but it was a different way. I showed the game how to make money, and I told them, like, I'm going to open the doors so artists could make money and could be businessmen after this. So I feel like I taught the game how to be a businessman in this business. So, you know, and I dealt with all those people, but I dealt with them a different way, and you're going to see it in my movie.
What makes now the right time?
Well, you know, to be honest with you, I really wasn't. We've been prepared for this. You know, Romeo went to film school at USC. And, you know, Romeo, the executive producer of this movie, it's a $10 million movie. And, you know, I feel like the passion, and he was like, Dad, he went out for the Tupac movie, because Tupac movie was supposed to come out before this NWA movie. And I guess it never happened.
Right.
And Ron was like, Dad, we need to tell your story. We need it because of what you've been through and coming from the South, because, you know, at that time, the East Coast and the West Coast, you had to be from the East Coast to the West Coast. So it was a struggle for me. At the same time, it was a lot of prejudice, you know, in the South.
Right.
So, you know, blacks and whites, they was going against each other, but at the same time, I was able to overcome that. And that's what you're going to see in my movie, because even the business people in this movie that I talk about, that Brian Turner's and all those, they didn't think that a black guy could make that kind of money or deserve that kind of money.
Right.
And
It's interesting. I always wonder when people do biopics, autobiographies, how hard is it to be really honest about everything that
I'm
happens?
honest about mine. You know, the NWA movie, I really didn't like Eazy-E character. I liked the movie, but I knew Eazy-E.
Okay,
I knew
so
Eazy-E was
what
a
was
street.
different about it?
He was a real street guy. I knew him.
I've seen a lot of people say that. A lot of people was like,
Yeah.
Easy could go anywhere in LA.
Oh,
He
man,
had a
Easy-
VIP pass by himself.
I know Eazy, so, you know, I know the truth. Like, all that stuff is not really how Eazy would have, you know.
Like what part? Because I mean, we're too. I'm not gonna say we're too young, but I really didn't know Eazy
They
personally.
said
so
Suge never put hands on Easy in real
Man,
life.
come on, man. You couldn't do Eazy-E like that.
Right.
I know, not the Eazy-E I knew. I knew it was going to be repercussion.
right.
So, you know, a lot of people changed their lives and grew up, but at the same time, I feel like the Eazy-E character wasn't all the way portrayed. This guy come from the streets. He the one made the money. He had everybody behind him. So that's what I didn't really feel like it was really portrayed.
Right, because the first time when we heard about NWA, we heard Eazy-E was kind of like the boss that made all the decisions. But in the movie, it made it seem like a collective type of thing. Like it was all, well, you want to do this, we want to do this. But growing up, it was always like, well, what Eazy-E said, Eazy-E got.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the real way. And I think, you know, they did their thing. It was a great movie, but, you know, that's just my opinion. I don't want nobody to be like, oh, what P said. Nah, it's the truth, though, because I was out on the road. I started out with Tupac opening up for them. So I know a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not like, but that's what I think about this movie. My movie going to be for real. You know, the struggle, the pain, and the success is like overcoming those barriers. I turned down $1 million with Jimmy IV. I only had $500 in my pocket. I had to go back to the project. Me and C on the plane, arguing and fussing. We about to fight on the plane because C like, man, we take this $1 million and our whole life gonna change. I'm like, nah, man. They offered me $1 million, but it's the Michael Jordan deal. You know what I'm saying? I'm signing my life away, signing my name away, and I'm getting nothing. And in the end, it's $1 million, but what about if we sell a lot of records? And I figure like if I'm coming from the project, no insurance, no nothing, these people don't really know me. If they're gonna give me $1 million when I'm really worth, I told C I gotta be worth about 40.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how I felt. You know, even though I was broke, I was going, that's how the whole ice cream man thing started. I said, I'm going back to go make me some real money. So I only had $500 in my pocket when I turned down $1 million. And I think that's special about my story because I believed in myself. And I didn't just go for the money, which a lot of artists will go for the money. You know, my grandfather always taught me things like, don't do nothing while you're desperate. And I feel like that was a desperate time.
Well, let's go back to the NWA movie, because part of the NWA movie was Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
And when Snoop Dogg was on death row, you picked him up.
Yeah.
Now tell us about that time when you picking up, because at that time Suge Knight was huge and it could have been beef, but you decided to sign him and go that route. What made you sign Snoop Dogg, and was there any problems or any repercussions at all?
We don't have repercussions over here. We just do what we do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like I saved Snoop's life. He went through some things, and I feel like he was the best talent that I knew in the world. I feel like Snoop Dogg, I was always a fan of his. But when I talked to him, he wasn't in a good place. So, you know, Suge was about to sign him with some other label, and I'm like, man, my money don't spend. You know what I'm saying? Let me get that. Right. And so, you know, things happen. I mean, it's going to be in the movie. You'll be able to see it. But, you know, a couple of things happened. When I first got to L.A., I got a call from Suge, probably like everybody, get that call. So I'm like, dawg, you do better talking to me in person. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, man, you know, L.A. ain't big enough for all of us. Puffy was out, a bunch of people. I said, well, I just bought a house. I ain't going nowhere. When you moving? You know? Right. So, you know, I mean, that's just how it is. And I respect everybody. I do a lot of foundation work in L.A. from Watts to South Central, and it's about, man, why we can't be there for each other, you know. And I never had problems with people. I just spoke my mind and kept it real with them.
Why did the West Coast embrace you? Because I remember you floated through Oakland, you floated through LA.
Yeah, Richmond, that was my home, because, you know, I just left New Orleans. My first stop was Richmond, California. And I learned the hustle game of the music, and I opened up a record store, and that's going to be in the movie. I opened up a record store, so I learned it from the retail perspective. In Richmond, California, they just embraced me. And I was out there doing my thing, hustling. I went from New Orleans to Richmond, California, and I was able to go to Oakland. You know, a lot of people say, it was one group, they dropped the CD, they had a song called Ice Cream Man, it was the Loonies. So that was the one time I really had, like, you know, people like, man, you know, my song, I said, man, my album called Ice Cream Man. So whoever got a problem with that, y'all need to holler at me, because that's just me. That's how I live. I always been an ice cream man. You know, ice cream was something I liked when I was little, and I put that in my music because I was a hustler. I'm the only person that owned my company and made money and actually really owned it. So a lot of these guys, they had bosses. I didn't have no boss. It was me. I got out there and hustled for what I had, and I think that's what life is about. And, you know, I went through all that learning the business. I give a big shout out to the Bay. I learned the business, the hustle part of the business from the Bay, and owning my own record store. And so you're going to see that in the movie. My life changed. You know, I hooked up one guy in Richmond, California. I could have been dead. You know, I mean, they found this guy in the trunk of a car, shot like 120 times. I was supposed to go with him. And I'm like, Romeo had got sick, so I'm like, say, dog, I can't go today. Let's go tomorrow or something. He was like, yeah, big dog, we go tomorrow. But he went anyway. Yeah. You know, and so my life was a tough life, man, but it was a life that I knew that I was going to make it, because when I was in, the movie's called The King of the South, because when I was 5 years old, I was in kindergarten. I ended up being the king of the school. And so the lady who was with me, Miss Irene, she said, bright eyes, you're going to be a star. So I always use that. Miss Irene saying, bright eyes, you're going to be a star. And as I moved on and started making and taking over the South, putting the music into the West Coast and the East Coast and the Midwest, where people start respecting us. In the Ice Cream Man, you know, I did a distribution deal with Priority with Brian Turner, which was an 80-20 deal, which was never done in the hip hop business, where an artist got 80% and a record company got 20%.
Right.
So that's the part of the groundbreaking history to where we made money. People, they thought I was probably going to sell like 10,000, 20,000 records, end up going gold at them type of numbers, 19 whatever dollars a CD or a cassette, and then them getting 20% of it. I mean, that was history.
How did you even finagle that deal to happen? Like,
why? Well, how I did it was I Michael Jackson lawyer. So, you know, I went to school. People don't know I went to school. I went to University of Houston. So I come from the hood, but I went to University of Houston to play basketball. And so business is what I studied over there. And so I just started researching. I went to the library. Who was the highest paid artist? And it was Michael Jackson. He was making 22%. So I said, I want to talk to his lawyer. So I called his lawyer. He said, man, you know, it's going to be $25,000 retainer to sit down and talk to me. So I said, man, $25,000. I had to go to the, you know. So I went there.
Is that going to be in the movie?
It's going to be in the movie. Okay. So I went there, brought him the money. He started telling me about.
Cash.
He started telling me, yeah, man, you could get a distribution deal, and that'll be 80%, but you're going to need $200,000 for marketing and promotion money. So I'm like, I was prepared. So when I went to Prague, I already knew. Right. They was like, you got 200? I said, yeah. I told my boy, go get it out in the car.
Go get it in the car?
So you had to bring the cash in?
But they was like, nah, we don't take that.
Oh, gotcha.
So, you know, it was like our life, like we come from the streets, man, and we changed our life. But like the time I didn't want to be there. Right. So I always knew that God had something else for my life. Right. And, you know, and when you see with Romeo, I start the movie off, I'm bumping Ice-T colors. I am a nightmare walking, psychopath talking. I got 2 guns on the side, and I got Romeo sitting in the other seat. And we in the hood in the project. And I could hear my grandmother saying, boy, turn that music down. You got that baby in the car with you. And I started thinking, like, man, I don't want to die. Like, because my goal was to live to be 19. Right. That was my goal.
Damn.
And I mean, you're an OG at 19 where I'm from. You know, if you survived that. Because at the time, my project in New Orleans was the murder capital of the world. And I'm the Callio Projects. And so I start saying, I got to do something else. I don't want to die like this in here. So I packed up and went to California and started. I watched. I didn't even know about starting a record company. So I seen. First thing I hit was Richmond. When I hit Richmond, I seen this Jones and Harris record store. People was lined up. I'm like, what they selling? You know, people just lined up. So I got in there and seen they were selling music, selling records. So I'm like, man, I want to. But it was an older family, and they were selling a lot of older music. So when you get in business, you always look for a problem. And I say, man, I'm gonna put some hip hop. I'm gonna put something for young people. So I went up the street, maybe 2 miles up the block, and I asked this white guy, seen an old building. And that's why I never got into the color thing. It don't matter. You know, it was a white guy who helped me. So I seen this old abandoned building. I said, sir, how much it is to rent this building? He said, son, if you could fix this building up, you could have this free rent for a year.
Wow.
And I'm like, man, I'm a country boy. Well, I'm about to go gut this place out. You know what I'm saying? And do what I do. I ended up living in the back of the stove till I got it together, and it ended up being, I went from making no money to $10,000 a month to $10,000 a day. Wow. In that stove. And that's when, you know, but what I was doing was I'll get music overnight. That's when FedEx and UPS was big. So, but the older people, they didn't know how to do that. By me going to college, I'm like, I'm going, whatever music you want, I'm going to get it for you the next day. So I got all the ballers outside, and I got a fixed up car. You know, I got my car on Triple Gold dating. So they like, whose store this is? I'm like 19, 20 years old. And I couldn't even go buy my music from the place. I had to tell them this is my daddy's store. You know, my dad away in New Orleans, but they didn't know that. And the white guy said, oh, yeah, I talked to your dad last week. Okay, cool, man, let me get that. And that's how I did. That's how I built my company. And
how was King of the South going to differ from Body Body?
Well, King of the South it goes like with my story gonna go is a trilogy like The Godfather. Like my story is a lot because I'm gonna go from the Ice Cream Man to TRU with me, C and Silk, and then the No Limit Empire, signing Snoop and all the stuff we went through that era, taking over the industry. So how it's different is this is a $10 million movie. It's a real movie, and hopefully, you know, the next phase of the distribution part of this, we could turn into a 20 or 30 million, how the NWA movie was. But, you know, we put our own money up for this, to do this movie, and we got some great actors in this movie.
Who's playing you?
We still looking for that person right now.
Come on, Romeo, man.
Nah, man. It's like Romeo gonna play one of my cousins or something. But we out searching for. We're doing a nationwide casting, and then you know my boy Ace B right here. He gonna play his cousin, which was my right hand guy that you know when we was out there living that life. Bruce, you know, he's not here right now, but you know he's gonna play him, and we looking for my right hand man. By somebody to play him. So, you know, that's my boy since day one, and we still here doing our thing. I mean, we went from not knowing we was going to make it to 19 to be able to be here doing what we do is a blessing.
Do you have to get approval from everybody that's in it, like your Snoops or your brothers, or do you have to get approval from all that, or you don't have to do that?
Nah, this is my story. You know, this
you
is my
don't have
story.
to.
This is my
You
story.
can write a
Use their
book.
names.
If you're a public person, I don't think you have to.
Yeah, this
but if
my-
you lie about it or something, there's a chance you could get sued if somebody says.
I don't think P gonna sue himself.
Well, no, I'm saying other people in the movie, just like what's happening with the Straight Outta Compton movie.
Who getting
with
sued?
Suge is trying to sue
What are you suing
for that movie
He
because
said
of
he
the
don't like the way he was
portrayal.
depicted.
He said he wasn't like that. He said he was a lot. Like, he's a guy,
Defamation.
he went to college. He was a friendly
Oh.
guy.
He what?
That's what he says. Now, would you rather have an unknown person play you in the movie? Because I know when they did Straight Outta Compton, they said they preferred that so you didn't have these preconceived notions.
Yeah, I think a lot of people look at, I would rather somebody unknown to play me so you don't think, oh, this person a comedian, this person a this or that. I'm looking for the right talent. We have a casting call, matter of fact, Friday in New Orleans. We just did one in L.A. this week. So we're going everywhere, North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, Florida. You know, it's an open casting call. We're doing a nationwide casting call, and I feel like we're going to find somebody and put them with Queen Latifah and Window and all these people and Charlamagne. And, you know, we're going to put all this cast together to where people could get it. You know, I like to deal with underdogs, but I also like to have A+ actors. And I've been talking to Tyler Perry people right now trying to get him to direct this movie. So this movie is going to have like a big A+ director with it. And the reason I'm looking at Tyler Perry, because he know the culture of New Orleans. You know the second lines, the Mardi Gras, those type of things. That's what's going to be different about our movie. I mean, even
Tyler willing to do something edgy though. Like I can see him like, P, I don't know if we should put that in and put.
Well,
that
you know
in.
what the thing about it is with me, I think it's good because he did a lot of. You know, people got to go outside the box. So you know, I've been talking to his man, guy Ozzy, and I'm saying, man, I really want Tyler to do this. Talk to him. So you know, they is in the talk right now. He's talking to him. I think it'll be great for both of us because when you look at it, the type of movies he's been doing, but he know the culture. He know me. I motivated him when back in the days to go out and do it on the film side the way I did it on the music side. So, I mean, Tyler started off from New Orleans. He come from the streets, was homeless, so he understand. He understand because with me and my movie, I started as a young kid. You know, I was a hustler, but I'm starting off carrying a torch. A lot of people don't know nothing about carrying a torch. I'm getting like $75. You got to carry these torches in a parade, and that's how you get your money. You know what I'm saying? So the culture of the world don't know that. And I want somebody to be able to express that. I mean, I feel I'm here for the street side to give what we need, but I want somebody that could paint this story. I want it to be like a Ray or Poetic Justice or like a Wolf of Wall Street, because that's what it is. It's about me taking over the music industry on the business side.
I know you
Tyler know there's no room for Madea in no.
Oh no, it ain't gonna be no.
Now I know you have a lot of stories that you can tell that people have never heard before. Recently, we had Julia Beverly up here. She had written Pimp C's book.
Okay.
And I know you know what we're going to talk about. And
Go ahead. What?
She tells a story about you in that book.
You said you pistol whip Pimp C.
We have a
God
clip.
bless the day.
I think we have a clip.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Master P ran up in his hotel room with 4 people, held him down, pistol whipped him.
Pimp C?
And, yeah.
Master P pistol whip Pimp C?
Pimp kind of fell back because he said, well, I kind of started it because I was talking crazy. What sparked that was there was a dispute over like some money or some equipment that was supposed to take place, and Master P had cussed out C's mom on the phone. So Pimp got on stage that night and he said, "No limit," and went off. Master P eventually found him, and I guess somebody said it was a love whooping. Like he let him know he could be touched.
That's damn near incriminating.
It's in the past, but she also did go on to say that you guys made up after that. It was fine, and he felt like he deserved it because he was going on stage saying "F no limit."
Yeah, the thing about us, like we don't normally fight nobody or beat nobody, none of that type of stuff. That ain't us. That ain't our character. It's like with Pimp C, he had a lot of talent. I really liked him as a person, but I found out that he called me. He said, "Man, I'm sorry. I was on drugs," and like you just wouldn't. It's just easy. Like to me and Lil J like this. We jam. Like that's my OG. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I learned a lot. You'll see in the movie. I got my hustle game from Jay because when I was at the University of Houston trying to play basketball, before I got hurt, I'm in the club and I seen Lil J come in and he had Scarface and the Ghetto Boys. And so I seen him, he come in the club in a Mercedes with a big main
coat. Jay Prince you talking about?
Jay Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he come up there with a main coat on, Mercedes, and I said, "Man, who's that?" So I went up straight up and talked to him. I said, "Look here, homie, what you do?" He said, "Man, I got a record company." I said, "A record company? What you mean a record company? You rap? What you do?" He said, "Nah, I own the company." And that's why I was motivated to, this a black man with this type of money,
right.
And he got his own company. I respect that. So at the same time, with us, where we come from, it ain't about once you run your mouth and you do all the stuff, you got to be able to pay for whatever you say. And I, like with me and Pimp, I never talk about none of that stuff. Mm-hmm. He's dead, his mom dead, so it's like I'm really not. You ain't never heard me sit around and talk about that. I just don't do that.
But I guess he told the story.
Yeah, he told the story to him, but that's maybe she knows some of the story. She don't know none of the story. But that ain't my business. I'm about I'm not gonna just talk about somebody that can't defend me. I'd rather talk about somebody that can defend themselves. Right. So that ain't me. And I mean he know whatever he did was wrong. He apologized for it. And there's a lot of people. To me, I always say 2 mountains may not never meet, but 2 men will. So I don't go looking for people. If I see you, like I tell anybody, man, you do me something. I don't care if I see you in church or whatever. You gonna have to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have to talk to me. That's just me. I don't. Man, I'm a pretty nice guy. I try to do the right thing. I don't mess with nobody. And I just hope that's just how I live. I say, like you hear all these beef on wax, go look and check my resume. We never did that. Right. We're not going. If you a real street dude, what you gonna talk about beefing with somebody on the record? We just don't do it. When you see him, you address it like men and say you got a problem with me. That's it. Now you gonna have to show it. You have to prove it that you mean what you say.
Well, with all these stories floating around like this, how important is it for you to tell your story and not have people tell it for you?
Yeah, well, you know what? The good thing about it, I feel my life, I want to tell the struggle side, where we come from and where we going at and where we grew up, how we changed our lives. Because everybody come from the struggle and come from the stress, come from trying to make it. And to be able to educate yourself, that's what I want people to show, that we come from the streets, but the education took us to a whole nother level to make some serious money from the project to Forbes. That's what this whole King of the South, Ice Cream Man, bio story is about. And we're not going to hold back. We're going to tell the truth because it's a movie. Mm-hmm. And we able to tell this the right way. Like it's not like Biggie or Pac, they not here, so somebody might tell their story any kind of way. Me and C, I was on that bus with Pac, knowing that I'm the opening up act. And now one day I'm gonna turn around and gonna be the biggest act in the world, to where these guys gonna probably need me. And that was in my mind. That was embedded. Like I'm from the South, but I'm gonna represent the South everywhere I go. And that's what I did. I mean, the East Coast took to our Body and the Ice Cream Man and make them say, which a lot of people say, "Oh, you're not the best rapper in the world." I never was trying to be the best rapper in the world. Lil Wayne the best rapper in the world. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make the most money off of what I do. That's what I'm trying to do, and I did this on my own, with a great team of people with me. But everybody got to have a vision, and my whole thing was no limit to my success, and I named myself Master P because I'm a master of whatever I do. And anybody that don't understand, they know that we broke the wave to where we could make money in the business. A lot of people you look at from the East Coast, a lot of my friends from the East Coast that did music, they looked at it as just an art. And I'm like, this ain't no art. We got to eat off of this. I got so many poor people in my family. Nobody ever had money in my family. So I broke that curse, that generation curse that we had, that everybody was poor.
And when y'all start taping? Have y'all started filming? Y'all haven't started filming?
No, we haven't started filming yet. We doing the casting right. We still casting right now.
When y'all know yet or not yet?
Once the casting is done, And, you know, we're in the works of some other things. So once we get done with that, I mean, we ready to go.
Why do you think that down south trap story hasn't been told on the big screen yet? Like, you ain't seen a BMF movie or even your film, like how they had, you know, they showed the gang lifestyle in on the West. Why they haven't shown that?
Well, I think it's time now. To be honest with you, like a lot of people don't own their stories. A lot of people don't own things that they need that could make this happen. You know, a lot of these guys got so many people in the pot to with me. It's just me. I could make it move. And I think that's the great thing about this, that we're gonna be able to do something that you know, tell our side of the story from the South, because we had to hustle. We had to break through those chains because, you know, the East Coast had the best rappers, West Coast had the best rappers, and then for us, people looked at us like, man, y'all just here. Because at first it was like gold teeth. Nobody really tripped on gold teeth. You know, I'm coming with a mouth full of gold teeth. They're like, oh, you country. Now everybody got gold teeth and dreads now, you know, everywhere you go. And I mean, those are some of the barriers that we broke as people.
How was it for you performing on the East Coast at first? Because I know in Luke, in his book, he talks about how they just did not respect down south artists. When they would come to New York, it was
I ain't
difficult.
gonna even lie, New York really just embraced me. They was body. They was like going crazy. I'm like, man, this is, you know, this is what it's about.
Yeah, they
like,
showed P a lot of love.
Yeah, they showed a lot of love in the East Coast, the West Coast. I mean, the Midwest, Cincinnati. Like I started, this is how I really broke. In the Cincinnati, so I'm on tour with Tupac, Spice One. They got into it with some guys in the club. You know, Tupac was on this dude or later, but he was drunk. So he on this girl, and I'm like, man, it's about to go down. I'm a dude from the South. You can't mess with nobody, woman. You tripping. So I'm telling Pot and them like, man, look, man, leave that alone. Nah, man, I'm cool. So I was like, okay, I'm going over here. Y'all tripping.
Do you?
I mean, he just was on this girl, and the dude walked up and said, look, man, I know you Tupac, I'm a big fan of yours, but that's my bro. He said, nah, she won't be with me. So the dude was like, man, I'm telling you, this is my bro, man. I'm gonna shoot this place up, man. You know how they is out there. I'm gonna shoot this place up. I guess they didn't get it. I told him, man, y'all need to get up on out of here.
Right.
Before you know it, da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? Now they run into the bus. The dude, this how I made my big break. The dude said, Pete, they gone. They had left and went out of town. Man, said, would you perform tomorrow? Boy, ain't nobody shooting at me. I'll be there 2 days. Y'all even do 3 shows, whatever. You know,
so thanks to that girl, you
man, thanks to her, whatever show, I don't even know her name or whatever. You know, that was my big breakthrough. I did like 3 shows down there. You know what I'm saying? And it opened it up for me.
That's great.
Now, Uncle Luke, how much of an influence did he have on you?
Man, to be honest, Uncle Luke had a lot of influence on me, but it wasn't like Lil J, because Lil J was in Houston. I was close to be able to see him. One time, I'll tell you my story about Luke. Like, I didn't know my first time going to Miami. So they had all these big conventions, rap conventions. So I got all these big buses with the ice cream man rap. So I get out, and I guess they never seen nothing like that in Miami before. So I got all my big buses. I think we made the world's greatest brawls after this show. So I parked my buses up there, and a guy come up and say, you with Luke? I just lost it. Man, I don't know no Luke. I got a bulletproof vest on. Look, we out there scrapping. So I'm like, but I ain't think that was Uncle Luke.
Yeah,
the rap. I'm just thinking like, boy, you with Luke? Boy, I don't know. Look out my face.
Yeah.
Then he swung at me.
Damn, right there, on the spot?
On the spot, man. That was the wrong thing to do. You know what I'm saying? We ate him up out there, right there. and I went to jail. Me and C went to jail. So they got the police saying, why you got this bulletproof vest on and all this stuff? So I'm like, man, they just killed Tupac or whatever. You know me. So I'm like, but that was my uncle that I never really hung out with, but I always had respect for him because of what he done. You know, he opened the doors. I think, you know, I look at everybody as they got their piece. You know, I feel like I'm the king of the South. You know, I feel like Luke started the whole movement on the end, and I feel like Lil J the Godfather. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I'm still like that Tony Montana. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think we all got little pieces to what we we could bring to this, and I think a lot of their music is influential to me in making those. What I did was, even with what Rap-A-Lot did, I feel like Rap-A-Lot music was slow. I respected them at the time, but I feel like with Lil J, you know, Scarface, the mind playing tricks, and the music was a little slow. By me being from New Orleans, we had that bounce music. So that's what I brought to the table. I tell people in business, you always got to find a problem. Right. I found the problem to where I say, I got to speed the music up and make it bounce so they could dance to it in the clubs. And that's what we end up doing. And that's how our music caught on. It caught on in the East Coast and the West Coast because it had a little more beat. Because we was always bouncing down. When you see somebody from New Orleans, they coming in just like that. So, and that's what we brought to the game. You know.
Now, when you was here last time, I made the comment about the young lady Mercedes, and you didn't approve of that. And a lot of people online said, "Well, P put her out there like that." And I'm like, "Well, P ain't the same person he was 20 years ago."
See, the thing about that, Charlamagne, I looked at even with us with that. Like me, even whatever I did, I'm not even trying to prove them. I'm just saying with us, like it's like we respect. Like if somebody with me, I'm gonna say I ain't gonna let you talk about it. Let nobody talk about nobody else. We are just me. That's the type of person I am. I feel like we just respect all women.
And she wasn't here to
she wasn't here to defend herself or whatever. So I just think like I'm not worrying about what the people got to say on the thing. Me and you on the same page. It's just respect. I feel like we respect women. We respect. Just like somebody respect my mama. I don't care who you is. You disrespect my mama, I'm gonna disrespect you. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like when people not there, that's the same thing. You asking about Pimp. I'm not gonna disrespect the man. He not here. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of stuff was wrong what they done, but they not here. So I feel like I'm just let that go. That's in the past.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even with the women out here, you know, it's like if that's a female around my camp and she been there, we made money together. I'm not gonna disrespect. I'm not gonna let nobody because that's just me. That's my character.
Like
you know?
If I'm not here and y'all talking about me.
He
probably would let you disrespect me.
But that ain't me. That ain't my character. I'm not going.
Now, P, you got 9 kids, P?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought I had a lot of kids. P got 9 kids.
You got 4.
You still working though, Envy. You still working
I
on
it. I got 5 more to go.
Have you been to the Calliope since they, I was there and they were building like the new buildings and everything? Have you been to check it out?
Yeah.
What you think about all that?
They told me you was there.
Yeah.
You know?
She stay in the hood.
No, she do. My people, I got a lot of relatives.
Yeah, they definitely came up to me and was like, everybody's name was No Limit something.
Yeah. But think about but that's how you got to look at it. It's like, we still shoot videos. Ace just shot a video back there. I think we the only people that come from the hood that still could do what we do. Because we still, our family still, some of my family, they just ain't gonna leave. You know, I go take them somewhere else, they just going back to the hood. I was like that at one time. And I found myself getting in trouble because I'm like, every time I come home, I end up right back in the project. You know, and I had to change that. I'm like, man, I gotta use the project as a motivation to show them that look what we could do. We could make it out. We could go buy mansions. We could go buy nice cars. We could buy nice things and come from here. And I think that's basically what it is for me now is doing that is important to show. Because that's what motivated me, seeing somebody could be successful and come from there.
Did money ever get funny with you at all when in your whole career in the music industry? Did you ever get to a point where it was losing and you had to do something to get it back?
Oh, yeah,
you filed for bankruptcy once, right?
I never filed for bankruptcy. I let people tell me what you need to do, and that's what artists need to do. You got to understand financial literacy. And I start studying this stuff. Like, I'm not gonna let somebody just take control of my life. Money get funny for everybody. I've been on the streets. I go up and go down. You know, watching the Donald Trump story and seeing, but I never had nobody go borrow $500 million from. You know what I'm saying? And start back over. So I had to get my hustle back on, knowing that okay, I'm not selling no records no more. I got to start. I don't mind. That's life. People go through things, but I had to go get my hustle back on and do what I do. And I did. I took my lick. I got the people from around me that I felt wasn't trustworthy, you know, and I started doing my own thing. I look at a lot of stories to where a lot of these guys have money, and a lot of guys that go down, they have serious money, but they let financial advisors take their life. Even look at a lot of these athletes. A lot of these athletes' lives are controlled by a financial person. You know, we got to cut that off because when you from the hood, you like, man, I'm down to my last 20 million. What I'm going to do? Man, cut some stuff off and start doing what you got to do. We don't think like that. Right. I looked at the Mike Tyson story. They just kept on paying his bills. With me, I see my money get low. I'm like, man, hold up.
Restructure.
Exactly. Get rid of you. Let me go handle this. Let me do. Nobody signing no checks. Nobody doing nothing for me. I'm paying my own bill.
And your kids make some good money, too.
Yeah, my kids make beautiful money. Romeo paid for this movie. Good thing. You know, that's a real boss. You know, at 24 years old, you come, man, I need 10. Go ahead on and whoop, whoop. Okay, cool.
That's got to be a crazy feeling. That's your child paying for your biopic.
And Symphonique made some good money.
Yeah, Symphonique made some great money. And it's like, but the good thing about it is something he wanted to do. So I'm like, if you want to do this and you believe in it, then put your money up. That's what I would do. be a real boss. If you believe in something, you got passion. He know, like, I mean, look at the NWA movie. I'm like, I don't know why Dre ain't put up the $29 million. Easily. You gonna get that back. I mean, look what happened.
Yeah, they got it back immediately.
See what I'm saying? So we got to start thinking like that. But people go on like, oh, this over for you. You did this. Really? Man, we live in the same mansion we've been living in.
You see Lil Wayne has the Weezyana Festival in New Orleans this weekend, too.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing.
How does the movie end? How do you decide how it ends?
So the first movie.
Does it end?
It's a trilogy.
It's a trilogy.
Okay.
It's a trilogy. But the first part, the Ice Cream Man, is going to end. You know, I lose my brother at the end. And you know, he really took to the streets. We took to the music side. And somebody I grew up with my whole life, and I made it, and I couldn't share this with him. You know, that's the part that was more hurtful for me. And you know, in Louisiana, we have second lines and all those type of things for Passovers. We don't cry. We don't. So you're gonna see, we celebrate that. But you know, it's a sad thing because it's somebody that you grew up with and you expecting to make it with you. Right. You know, and he was a year younger than me, so I'm thinking he gonna surpass me. I'm gonna be the first one to go. That's what I'm thinking in my mind, because that's all we know. This is how we live, and we on the streets, and we trying to make it. And you know, I end up selling 500,000 Ice Cream Man records, making a lot of money, and then able to open the doors for the rest of the business. And you know, I mean, it's life. Like everything, every good thing has some kind of thing that you got to pay for. Gotcha. And I feel like that's something that, I mean, in the movie you'll see. I got my cousin. This is where Hot Boy come from. You know, he a real one of those real ones out there. And so at the same time, my senior year of high school, you know, where I go from, I go to Booker T. The school I go to, they really get down. All the youngsters, they about gunplay, they about whatever. So it's like 8 kids that go to school with me. So I want to be like my cousin Hot Boy. He got the fixed up car and all that stuff. So I'm a basketball player. I'm on my way about to go to college, about to make it. But I end up going by him to shoot dice. I got like 2,500 on me. It's a lot of money for back then. Right. My cousin got about 10 or 15 G's on him. He the man. I want to be like him. So I'm doing my thing. As soon as these guys run up on me, they telling my cousin, look, you know what it is. And I go to school with these guys. They say, you know what it is. And I'm saying, cuz they for real. They real shooters. You need to run or whatever. So I run up to the top of the hall in the project, and I lay down because I shake the door, so I know they going to shoot up the door. Just me thinking. I lay down. It's dark. They ain't going to come in the hall. I'm like, man, come on. Whatever. So I lay down like I got a gun, but I don't have none. It's in the house. So they shoot the door up. Da-da-da-da. I'm laying down. I can hear them saying, yeah, we got Pete. Whoop, whoop, whoop. By the time I get down, they shot my cousin like 8 times. And so they jump in the car. I took the money and threw it up, and that's how I was able to run. He just talking to them like they little boys. He ain't tripping. But they high school students, but this is what they do. And so by the time they take off, I come downstairs, jump in the car, and take him to the hospital. He ended up living. And so we get to the hospital. My first day, we look for these guys for maybe the whole senior year. So I was supposed to be in prison. So by the time my first day I started college, him and another one of my partners catch him and kill all 8 of them. Damn. And so they go to prison, I go to college.
Damn. That's in the script?
Yeah.
Don't tell us no more, Pete. You give us I don't want to say that because it's so interesting, but yeah, Pete, don't tell us no more, Pete.
But it's real. You can't, when you see this, is what we've been through, man, and I feel like God had a different plan for me. Right. And I was able to shake through that. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed with my family, but it's real life. It's like what we had to go through at the time.
Don't tell us no more, Pete.
And final question: when you say trilogy, is it going to be year after year? We ain't got to wait 5 years in between every movie, right?
We're gonna see, because once something's successful, we gotta wait till it won't be no trilogy if the first one is not successful. You know what I'm saying? So we banking on hopefully, Rome get his 10 back and we go do what we got to do. Yeah. And hopefully one of these big distributor companies pick it up. Maybe we could turn it into a $20, $30 million movie. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, my whole thing is, too, a lot of my artists is going to play some of those roles. Like main music going to play Soulja Slim. Like I told you, HB got an important role. TEC going to probably play C. And, my 2 female artists, Miss Chi, I feel like, is one of the top artists around for us female. I feel like I found a real street artist that could represent us she gonna play a important role, maybe Mia or something. And then She Money, I feel like is the hottest youngster that I done found. And then Gangster and Play B's, I got some nice roles for them in the movie. So we're gonna have those fill-in parts that you can feel a realness, because where they at right now in their life, they still on the streets. Nobody really know about them, but you're gonna get a chance to feel them, and they good at the music at the same time. So I feel like it's a good story. And then I got Eastwood gonna play like the West. I had like Big Ed. I started in Richmond with my homie, rest in peace, Big Ed, and I got Eastwood gonna play that role. So I feel like this is with the Queen Latifahs and Wendell and everybody that we have, with Charlemagne, which I know a lot of people gonna hate first to say, but it's great to. No, I'm telling you what's good about this. Charlemagne did from the entertainment side to this to TV and now the movies. All this is about finding somebody to believe and give you that shot. A lot of guys that I gave shots in movies, they went on to be big stars now. What's the lady that played on the show now? Cheryl Underwood.
Cheryl Underwood?
Yeah. She was in my first I Got the Hookup movie.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she was in my the Chinese guy was in what the Chinese guy playing that Hangover. He was in,
I can't remember his name. He got a sitcom coming.
Yeah, he was in his first role was Uncle P in my movie. So, we got a lot of people that started out. It's about giving people that first shot to where, you get to Hollywood, a big movie like this, $10 million, that's a big budget for even these Hollywood movies. A lot of these Hollywood movies don't come out at $10 million a movie. Some of these movies, $3, $4, $5 million, and they end up being big movies. So I feel like this movie is serious to us because we're gonna be able to show the culture in New Orleans and how we broke that barrier.
Well, we appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you again, P. Man, it's really a privilege and an honor to be in a Master P biopic.
Thank you, for sure.
And you're gonna film it in New Orleans.
New Orleans and California.
Okay.
All right.
Well, it's Master P. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
About to fight on the plane because man, we take this $1 million and our whole life gonna change. I'm like, nah, man. They offered me $1 million, but it's the Michael Jordan deal. You know what I'm saying? I'm signing my life away, signing my name away, and I'm getting nothing. And in the end, it's $1 million, but what about if we sell a lot of records? Right. And I figure, like, if I'm coming from the project, no insurance, none of these people don't really know me, if they're going to give me $1 million when I'm really worth, I told I got to be worth about 40.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how I felt. Even though I was broke, that's how the whole ice cream man thing started. I said, I'm going back to go make me some real money. So I only had $500 in my pocket when I turned down $1 million, and I think that's special about my story because I believed in myself, and I didn't just go for the money, which a lot of artists go for the money. My grandfather always taught me things like, don't do nothing while you're desperate, and I feel like that was a desperate time.
Well, let's go back to the NWA movie, because part of the NWA movie was Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
And when Snoop Dogg was on death row, you picked him up.
Yeah.
Now tell us about that time when you picking up, because at that time Suge Knight was huge and it could have been beef, but you decided to sign him and go that route. What made you sign Snoop Dogg, and was there any problems or any repercussions at all?
We don't have repercussions over here. We just do what we do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like I saved Snoop's life. He went through some things, and I feel like he was the best talent that I knew in the world. I feel like it gotta have the right characters, and I think that the character that Charlemagne playing is the guy that saved my life when I was 5 years old. He's my uncle. He lived next door to me in the project.
Was he light skin or brown skin?
Nah, he's the same color, Charlemagne.
Well, what color is that?
Come on, man. Look, see, they own you.
Like I'm not sitting right here. Like they don't got eyes.
Look, the thing about it is, this person saved my life and got me to the hospital. He was the only person, in our family that had a car. And if it was a minute later, I'd have been out of here because I got shocked through my feet, and I stepped on this cord on the radio, and it went through my hand. So it's a good role. Somebody that's dear to my life that I appreciate.
Well, I want to thank you, man. It's an honor and a privilege to be in the Master P biopic.
Oh, no, man. I'm telling you, like, to me, what the great thing about this movie, NWA, I mean, it's an amazing movie, and I feel like at the same time, my story, I came right after them. If you go look in the history books, I came right after them, and I taught the world how to make money. NWA was probably some of the best artists in the game at the time, and those same guys from Jerry Heller to Brian Turner to Jimmy Iovine, I dealt with all of them, but it was a different way. I showed the game how to make money, and I told them, like, I'm going to open the door so artists could make money and could be businessmen after this. So I feel like I taught the game. I know Eazy, so you know I know the truth. Like all that stuff is not really how Eazy would have, you know.
Like what part? Because I mean, we're too. I'm not gonna say we're too young, but I really didn't know Eazy personally.
They said Suge never put hands on Eazy.
Man, come on, man, you couldn't do Eazy like that.
Right.
I know, not the Eazy I knew. I knew it was gonna be repercussion.
Right.
So you know, a lot of people changed their lives and grew up, but at the same time, I feel like the Eazy character wasn't all the way portrayed. This guy come from the streets. He the one made the money. He had everybody behind him. So that's what I didn't really feel like it was really portrayed.
Right, because the first time when we heard about NWA, we heard Eazy-E was kind of like the boss that made all the decisions. But in the movie, it made it seem like a collective type of thing. Like it was all, well, you want to do this, we want to do this. But growing up, it was always like, well, what Eazy-E said, Eazy got.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the real way. And I think, you know, they did their thing. It's a great movie, but, you know, that's just my opinion. I don't want nobody to be like, oh, what P said. Nah, it's the truth, though, because I was out on the road. I started out with Tupac opening up for them. So I know a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not like, but that's what I think about this movie. My movie going to be for real. You know, the struggle, the pain, and the success is like overcoming those barriers. I turned down $1 million with Jimmy IV. I only had $500 in my pocket. I had to go back to the project. Me and C on the plane, arguing and fussing.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
The OG.
Master P.
What's going on, y'all?
Morning, sir.
Oh, man, it's all good.
Let's start off with this energy drink you done put on our face. What's this new
S9.
thing that you doing?
S9, no sugar, no calories. It's good, man. Y'all got to taste it. Give it a taste.
So what's
test.
in it if it don't have none of that?
Taste it. It's the best tasting in the drink in the country.
Pass me that Hennessy.
All right.
It do taste good.
You know, it ain't like the Red Bull or the other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of
Name
sugar.
it though.
That's cool. But, you know, a lot of athletes drinking this right now with the
Gotcha.
sports drink. So,
Sure.
you know, got nine different ingredients of vitamins in there.
No guilt.
Yep, none of that.
It tastes good. This tastes great with some
I'm surprised they ain't got no sugar in it.
with
though.
some
I think
Hennessy.
that defeats the purpose to mix it with liquor, Yee.
Yeah,
No, it
it's like
doesn't.
an up and a down.
What do you mean? It balances everything out.
Yeah, we're going to bring her some of that, and she won't mix it with
Just limit 3 cans per day, so just be careful with that. But yeah, it tastes good.
Now listen, I saw a huge announcement that you have a new star
Yeah.
in your movie that you
Yep,
have coming out, your
yep.
biopic, and it's our very own Charlamagne.
You know
Oh,
what
we
I
out here.
think? You know what? What's good about this? People don't. You know, I feel like when you make movies and you put movies together, and how to be a businessman in this business. So you know that, and I dealt with all those people, but I dealt with them a different way, and you're gonna see it in my movie.
What makes now the right time?
Well, you know, to be honest with you, I really wasn't. We've been prepared for this. You know, Romeo went to film school at USC, and you know, Romeo, the executive producer of this movie, it's a $10 million movie. And you know, I feel like the passion, and he was like, "Dad, we need." He went out for the Tupac movie because Tupac movie was supposed to come out before this NWA movie, and I guess it never happened.
Right.
And Ron was like, "Dad, we need to tell your story. We need it because of what you've been through and coming from the South. Because you know, at that time, the East Coast and the West Coast, you had to be from the East Coast to the West Coast. So it was a struggle for me. At the same time, it was a lot of prejudice, you know, in the South."
Right.
So, you know, blacks and whites, they was going against each other, but at the same time, I was able to overcome that. And that's what you're going to see in my movie, because even the business people in this movie that I talk about, that Brian Turner's and all those, they didn't think that a black guy could make that kind of money or deserve that kind of money.
Right.
And
It's interesting. I always wonder when people do biopics, autobiographies, how hard is it to be really honest about everything that
I'm
happened?
honest about mine. You know, the NWA movie, I really didn't like Eazy-E character. I liked the movie, but I knew Eazy-E.
Okay,
I knew
so
Eazy was
what
a
was
street.
different about it?
He was a real street guy. I knew him.
I've seen a lot of people say that. A lot of people was like,
Yeah.
Eazy could go anywhere in LA.
Oh, man,
he
Eazy-
had a VIP pass by his